much more than just money.
What would you tell the 10-year-old self?
No matter at what age you are, you always have your values that you are bringing could help to add value to the business.
Hi, welcome to Meet the One show. This show is to inspire young adults to start their business early, or if you're interested to start your own business, feel free to come and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Today we have a very special guest. Her name is Elesha and she runs multiple business. I'll let her explain her business a bit later. I think a lot of us will be curious, like running one business is tough enough. How do you run multiple business, right? How do you split your time? So I'll let Elesha introduce herself and what kind of business she's in. Yeah, go ahead, Elesha.
Hi young adults, my name is Elesha and currently I'm in a holding company called Peanacle Holdings. In our holding company, we have both 365 and SAG. So together I run a few businesses which includes automotive, insurance, property, solar, motor credit financing and also a small little trading company.
Small little trading company. It's not very small.
Okay.
So before we start, we just want to hear from you. Maybe you can share a little bit in terms of the journey that brought you where you are today.
The reason why I came back is because of my father. It's my family business. Because at that moment, especially during COVID, it was very difficult. So I had to come back and to help my father. So eventually, we built more businesses. In 2020, we built our motor credit financing company, which is also, I kind of feel proud about it. So, and eventually, we built more businesses and there's more on my portfolio, and that's how I came back. But prior to COVID, I was actually studying in Munich, and because my father thinks that he missed me a lot, so I had to come back.
How sweet!
Okay.
Right. You also have a business of your own. Maybe you can share with us about that.
At that time, when I started the business, it was because I want to do something else rather than my dad's company. Actually, even with that own company, it was opportunity given by my father, and also with my small investment in the company. So that's how we started the brand Ele B. So the purpose of starting Ele B is because during COVID, we found out that there are a lot of people who are under stress, and aromatherapy could help them to improve their mood and to balance out their hormones possibly in the bodies. It's considered a natural remedy to heal yourself. Yeah.
What would you tell the 10-year-old self?
That's quite interesting because, true story, I actually thought about that just yesterday.
Oh my goodness.
I'm serious. Since young, I have like a 5 to 10 years plan. I draw out my own future, what I dream of the future on a piece of paper, and I tell myself that's actually what I want to achieve. When I was 12, I thought that I would become a very corporate person. I would be very rich. When you're young, you only have the picture, but you do not know what's the process like. So I could only draw out the picture. And during my teenage years, I thought I have drifted away. And now, when I attended the event yesterday, and I was complimented by one of the major players in the market, especially in fintech, that I am more mature somehow and more stable for what my age is currently at. I feel that those kind of compliments really drives me further. But I think 10 years ago, I've never really thought that I would become who I am now. I wouldn't consider myself best, but at least I feel that I'm slightly better than yesterday. I think that's what matters.
So cute. Okay. Like because a lot of times when we think about how 10 years ago, or maybe when we're young, and then we'll be like, okay, like you're good, you're doing well, you should explore more and all that. But you're like, wow, I think you've never really thought of where you are today. It means that you never actually regret like what you've done previously.
Regret, it's a part and parcel of life, but if you hold on to the regrets too much, you can't move on.
That's true.
So hence, whenever I have a regret, right, I will think of ways to so that I wouldn't create another regret. Because if life is only meaningful when you have bitter and sour and also some sugar.
Let's start with the questions from the children. So this is the first question.
You operated so many companies. Are you rich?
Rich is a description for a lot of things. If we take for money, for example, there is a possibility that you could be as rich as those on the Forbes 50. But I feel that life is much more than just money. I feel so we could be rich in knowledge, we could be rich in wisdom, we could be rich in experience. I would definitely consider myself rich at this moment because I feel that I have the experience, I have the friends, I have the network, which really could bring me further. That's why I consider myself rich.
So maybe I can conclude it's about your knowledge, your experience, that you think those are the ones that it's the rich and not just the money.
But I think everybody could be rich as well, because when you pursue on the journey and when you start reflecting on the things that you have done, there are a lot of things that you can learn, and that's the experience that make you rich. When you go out with that kind of experience and when you have been through the process, that is where you will be confident with the type of qualities you have.
Wow, very good. Okay, I'll move on to the second question.
Amongst the work that you are doing now, which one do you like the most?
I feel that I really enjoy my work. I don't have any specific things that I pick to be my favorite, but if there is only one option, I guess it's definitely meeting more people. Because my work has given me the benefit of having a bit more freedom, which I need to network with people, which I need to meet more people to get more solutions for my company. With that process, I get to see how is the market like, what is needed in the market. For me personally, I also now know my self-worth. Meeting people is like reading a book. Every time you meet somebody, you get a new story. So I think meeting people is a very fun thing.
A lot of times, I've spoken to some of the people that they're in family business. Usually, they won't be like, oh, I enjoy my work. But you're the first one that, I enjoy my work. I'm like, seriously, jaw drop. And that is something that, honestly, it's very rare. For me, it's like a blessing, right?
Because when I first entered my business, I too have my terms and conditions with my dad. So
smart.
So the first thing that I told my dad is, I wouldn't call you dad in company. I'm calling you by name. So because I do not want to have the pressure of having family and also being somehow kidnapped by the kind of values that is within the family, because family values and business values are, after all, same but a bit different.
Right.
When I'm in business, I think the tone that I'm speaking to him is a bit different. And with
so do you call him like what, Mr. C?
I call him Justin.
Interesting.
Yeah. In any event, people was initially quite shocked, but somehow they are just used to it. And to me, I wouldn't be afraid to say no to my dad, because there are certain decisions you need to make changes, and sometimes I feel that no matter at what age you are, you always have your values that you are bringing. You know where you come from, and those values could help to add value to the business. And I think from that onwards, I kind of like my work a lot, because I feel that I get the freedom, I get to know more people, and making myself even richer with the network and the experience.
That's very true. She's very good at that. Okay, let's.
What
The last question.
requirement will you look for when you come to employ trusted staff to run your business?
When I look at an employee, I look at three things. First is having a good attitude. Secondly is the ability to solve problems. And thirdly is you know how to be honest. When there's a problem, if there's no honesty, it's very hard to solve the issue.
Maybe, do we call this transparency? Would you think that would be a better way of saying it?
Transparency would be a better way.
So it's like, if I feel that it's not right, I will voice it out.
Yes.
In a way, I'm honest and I'm transparent about how I feel and how I see things.
Yes, that's very important, because if you do not have the transparency, if you are working in a team or even you are working on your own, you cannot see where the problem lies, and you cannot solve the problem. We have a lot of problems every day. Even for ladies, choosing a clothes could be a problem for us in the morning. What clothes should I wear? But when you have the ability to solve the issue, to solve the problem ahead of you, I think that will help you maybe more than 80% of the issues that you have.
Then it makes me curious. So, if you're looking at the attitude and the ability to solve problems, and also, of course, being transparent. So how do you assess them?
I think that first, definitely, it will be interview. It also comes with experience. You talk to more people, you will sense that this person, how is he or she like. So interviews, we have our HR manager who will interview. And then when it's a higher post, then it will be the directors that will be interviewing. But to me, I would sense how this person is when I first talk to this person. When you say a person's attitude is good, it's not about how he speaks. It's also about the body language. It's also about maybe certain values that we're bringing. So we hope that in our company, the people that are joining us, they are also adding value to us. To us, working is not just a maybe 9 to 5 thing. It could be beyond. Certain people need to quit OT. If you do not like the people around you, you wouldn't be happy about it. You can only see when you really work with that person.
So meaning during the probation period.
But when we access a candidate, we it's not a definite 100%. Of course, to be honest, we also met certain employees which doesn't quite fit the role. We try to negotiate, we try to communicate. When there's a problem, there's always a solution. We try to give more chances for this person to perform, because don't judge a book by its cover. I feel that with communication, a lot of things could be solved even when this person is not a good fit. For us, it's not so much of an employer-employee kind of relationship. It's more like a partnership or a teamwork. We are actually inviting you to our little family or maybe little organization so that we could be able to reach our goal in a faster way.
Then what is the longest serving employee then?
I think we have employees which were with us for maybe 15 years, 16 years.
Wow.
Yeah, because under SAG Group, we have already been around since 1999. So they have been there for quite a while. Even those old employees, they actually basically saw me grow up, and we are still friends. We still meet each other every Chinese New Year. So the relationship is still quite close. Yeah.
Yep. Has there been anything, maybe not necessarily relationship, but an incident or a situation that you remember very clearly, or maybe just a lesson learned throughout your entrepreneurship journey? Because of that, it kind of makes you grow, or it's something that is just too memorable that you will not forget about it.
I think one thing that I've learned is to not trust people that easily. I mean, when you first meet a person, you need to give a certain level of trust so that people could communicate with you. However, when I say do not trust people that easily, is especially when you're accessing the partners that you have in the company or maybe the shareholders in your company. You have to access that person so that you are confident enough. Do not jump into a situation just because it's giving you like a sweet. For instance, if another person say, if you join me, then I will offer you 10,000 ringgit immediately. You have to think of the sustainability of the business.
And the long-term plan.
Yeah.
But wouldn't that, let's say, of course, when we go into a partnership, some partners actually have agreement as in like, okay, if one of us die, what happened? If something happened to you, what should the share be like? Do I buy you out or do you buy me out? I thought that kind of partnership agreement should be in place before any formation.
Because my company was quite traditional, a lot of them is based on trust. So this kind of partnership agreement wasn't that important at that time. I think the trend of partnership agreement only came by in the market since maybe a few years ago. But this partnership that I was saying, it has been there for a few years. Hence, the formality wasn't there. And when it comes to splitting the shares or maybe exit of the business, it's not that clear. So before entering a business, do as much of protection to yourself if possible, but this kind of protection shouldn't harm the other partner, because you also need to give the other person the level of confidence.
Yeah. So it's like, but it sounds something like prenuptial agreement. Before going into marriage, some request like prenuptial agreement, but it's like a business partner agreement.
I had a conversation with a group of friends that we were debating between whether a business is a form of art or is it a form of science.
Interesting.
Yeah. All of us, I think about 90% of our friends, the group of friends, we agreed that it's a type of art. For a business to succeed or not, it depends on the time of at the moment when you start the business. It depends on the market. It depends on the chemistry you have with your partner. And it depends on the little decisions that you make in the company. Even when you and your other competitor work within the same space, even if you're direct competitors, but how you achieve that level is a totally different pathway. With the art, it really depends on the decisions that you make, or maybe the experiences that you and your partner have before. But making decisions is very important, and we have to be aware that not all decisions is a definite 100%. Sometimes we could make wrong decisions, but it's better than no decision.
What was that memorable incident that made you share this advice?
At that moment when I entered the business, I was not sure about this person's background. Hence, when there was unhappy incidents, this person would throw temper. It's not at all sanity. Sometimes when you exit a business, it's like a breakup. So the breakup could be a very peaceful breakup, but some breakups are not that fortunate.
Nasty.
Yes. My experience wasn't that great because this person happened to throw a temper at me and start to blame me for certain things that I've not done. But given that time, I think I was quite inexperienced. So I took a while for me to really get back up and to really realize that not everything that happened is because of you. Sometimes it's because of a situation. Sometimes it's because maybe God wants to give you the lesson. You do not have to think so much about it once you're over, and once you realize that, hey, actually you have grew a bit. I think that's the most important about that.
Yeah, to me, I would call this type of experience blessings in disguise.
Yes.
Because it happens to you at an earlier age.
Correct.
When you don't know there's such thing called partnership agreement.
And at that time, when it happened, I had nothing to lose.
Exactly, exactly. So you have nothing to lose, and it's a free lesson.
Yes, yes.
You don't have to pay for it. I mean, maybe you do.
My takeaway from the whole incident was having a strong self-confidence, and also you know what's your worth is very important. People can come in different manner to accuse you or maybe to talk bad about you. But if you know where's your stand, it doesn't really matter anymore about what people say.
So know your worth.
Know your worth.
Wow, okay, awesome. I think before we wrap this whole thing up, maybe we can share something that you find that it will help them in their entrepreneurship journey.
Every experience matters. When things come to you, don't reject it. Just try to experience it, because some experiences doesn't come easy. Even with my bad incident, I do not regret it, because I became who I am today. In other words, I'm also thankful for the person which taught me something. At least we try to think it in a more positive way. So whenever there's experiences, if you know what's your stand, if you have already evaluated it, do not think further, just go ahead with it. And I think if God can give you something, even if it's a bad thing, He already have something planned ahead of you.
Right. So if there's opportunity, grab it. Yes. Okay, again, thank you so much, Elesha, for being on our show. I think she shared quite interesting experiences, and definitely something that we've never really thought about, having partnership agreement. And of course, grab the opportunity when it comes to you, really experience every experience. So thank you so much, Elesha, for being on our show, and see you in the next episode. Bye.